Well, I grew up in Germantown, uh, and I really have to say that music all along was the thing that kind of saved my life. I, I I came up in a really big family. I could think my mother, she had around 12 brothers and sisters, and they all went to the same church. So at a very early age, I guess my whole family was in the church choir, and I guess it started at from around the age of 5 years old. I knew I could sing, and I attribute it to my mother. When she found that I could sing, she put me through a lot of I'd say hell. My mom used to be the person that would she was the what's the people that hand out the ushers, yeah. The ushers used to have to take my mom to the back of the church because my mom, she thought she was my personal director. Like she would, go up. No, 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 down, down. Oh, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. So the preachers used to make my mom go to the back. But the, but my mom, when she found out that I was uh, into music, she wanted me to study music. She had me in piano lessons. She had me in voice lessons, everything, to keep me out of trouble and keep me engaged. My father was a Muslim, so when I would go to visit my dad on the weekends, it was we would go to Claire Muhammad School, and it was a Muslim Muslim life, and I had a brother around the same age as me. Uh, my and we did a lot of cool things. I'm thinking back around that time, because everybody had the gold chains, but we couldn't really afford it. But we could afford the $4 chains. They looked gold, but they weren't actually gold. So we used to get around $15 worth of rope gold chains. Me and my brother, and we had a lot of good times. Riding around with my dad. My dad, he always had a lot of money. I didn't know until I got older that he sold drugs. But he was real discreet about it. Not to you know shed any good light on being a drug dealer, but my dad was able to afford us to go to um, I guess private schools. Before the whole charter school invasion, but. Uh, well, 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 thank you. Uh, but around that time, I wanted to. I was my dad. I wanted to be like my dad. He was a Muslim, and he was making a lot of money, and me and my brother, we wanted to be just like pops. So uh, I got suspended a lot around that time. Uh, and it was a Catholic school anyway, so I probably got suspended because I was saying a lot of Islamic stuff, like, "Well, where's Muhammad at?" And you know, I got a question. First of all, but w- what wound up happening is I could no longer go to that school, so I had to go. My mother, she had me go to the same Catholic school that my other cousins was going to, and they were tearing that school apart, man. They were, man. My cousins, they ran the school. It was like warriors, And I coming to the school, I was in the church choir. So one thing that happened was I was drawn to the youth choir in the school. It was ran by a lady named Mother Brown, and Mother Brown, she used to, every morning we had to meet before school started, and we would sing a bunch of church songs, like, be bold. I forget the name of the songs. But they're a good song. It was, it really engaged all of the kids, and through it, she realized that I had a thing for singing, and she knew all my cousins. But I wanted to be, cool like my cousins. So I had a friend in the school, and he was very artistic. He was one of the first artistic cats that I knew. His name was Derek, but he was really good at drawing, and he knew cool comic books and stuff. And I remember after school, I helped my cousins jump them. we and we, we took his shoes off and hit him. It was terrible. And I don't know why I helped them do that. The whole time he's looking at me like, "You're my friend." I'm like, "This is family, This is blood. But I remember that the next day we went back to school, and Miss Brown was so disappointed in me. She was so disappointed. And that she started calling me a 5-minute Christian. You're a 5-minute Christian. You sing so good, but you come and you're doing all this foolishness. And she brought me up, and they don't do this in public schools, but she brought me up in front of the class, and she kicked my ass. She spanked me in front of everybody. This was, this would have been on the news. But, she spanked me, man, and I felt bad. She didn't even really have to do that, but I felt bad because Derek was he was my boy. He was a strange bird, and I felt like out of my family, like I've always kind of been like the I don't know, the strange bird. I can from that moment, I realized that I wanted to just be myself. I didn't want to just be, a part of something because it was cool. I wanted to just follow my heart. My father hated the fact that I sang in the church. It just, it was like, "I can't believe this." Him and my mother just would argue over and over again. He's Muslim, I'm his father, and if his father's Muslim, he's Muslim. He's not allowed to go to church, But I secretly liked it because I got a chance to sing. But my dad around that time started taking me to jazz clubs because his friends owned Zanzibar Blue. And so they would allow me to sit in they used to have this cigarette machine back in the day, and I would go in the coat room, and they would give me like a little cranberry juice, and I would just watch all of the musicians play, and it really inspired me, to be a part of jazz. The only thing is I didn't have an instrument, it was just really singing. And when I got to performing arts, being a jazz vocalist was kind of, I was almost in the same seat as Derek. You can't sing. Only the girls sing, man. You gotta play. And I couldn't afford a piano, so my mom brought me a Casio keyboard. But on a Casio keyboard, it had drum beats and different sequences. So randomly, I started to write tunes and write songs, in high school. And I came into my own in another way. I really stopped hanging out in the vocal department. I almost was kicked out of the school altogether because I couldn't play an instrument, but I wanted to be around the cats that played instruments. But I didn't really want to sing anymore because I thought it was cooler, after getting bit by the jazz bug at Zanzibar Blue, I really wanted to I didn't want to sing opera anymore. I had this love, a deeper love for instrumentation and what the cats were playing on the trumpet. So it took a lot, but I started to teach myself the chords and just listen to what my friends were saying, as far as, E flat chord or, G minor. It was the craziest things they used to do to me, uh, because I really felt, like I could sing, I could hear anything. So I would go to different jam sessions and I would call a tune and they would play it in a different key. A different key is like something's like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And it goes into a lot of different tonalities. So I would be in one tonality, and the band, because they hated male singers, would be in a whole, like, it would be another key. And I'm like, Misty. And it wasn't until I met this guy named Orrin Evans, jazz piano player from the city. Yeah, Orrin really inspired me a lot because he had just graduated. He had just graduated from the school, but he moved to New York and he was really doing a good job playing up in New York. He hired me to sing at this club. It's not there anymore, but it was called Blue Moon Jazz Club, and he took a liking to me, and he was like, "Man, you scat, you should scat sing, skit scat." Like, oh, skit scat, man. He's like, you don't have to play a horn. You learn how to skit scat, man. You can just sing the notes with us, like Bobby McFerrin. And so he really took a liking to me, and so it really developed a dream for me to move to New York to, pursue jazz and to become a singer. Randomly enough, it worked out for me. Along with my mom, on my back, when she found out that I was in theory, she was giving me theory tests. My mom didn't even know jazz. But I really attribute a lot to that. My mom's always been, about if you're into something, I'm gonna make sure you're like obsessed with it, because I'm gonna become obsessed with it, and I'm gonna test you. So saying all that to say, through Orrin, I got to meet Betty Carter, incredible jazz singer, and through her inspiration, I got into a school in New York for jazz. And from there came the Black Lily. Yeah. Black Lily was really the thing that made me want to be a soul singer, because before then I only knew gospel songs and like jazz standards. But I met a cat named Amir Questlove Thompson, and he's an alumni of our school. But just watching his connection and his understanding to live music and how he could play it in a way that it has so much history behind it, but so much futuristic possibilities, it really drew me to him. And he kept his house open around those times. So it was always a jam session at his house or somewhere around. And he brought me into the music. He got me, my first year of college, he got me a job singing background for D'Angelo. And I'm 19 years old, and it's funny, I saw D'Angelo the other day, and I talked to him about this, but it it was like culture shock, you know, growing up, uh, seeing all of these people and listening to their music, and then you wind up in their band and you're singing their music. And I mean, D'Angelo hollered at me from day one. It was like, you're not singing your part, you know. Yeah, you're not singing your part. And I literally forgot everything. Like our first gig, I lost all the words. And I'm just looking like, yo, D's killing it. Amir's back there smashing. I can't believe this. This is amazing. Like, and it clicked. It was the first time I had ever been on a plane. It was I think it was the Essence Festival. And we're just up there, and D'Angelo's tearing his shirt off. And he's like, ah! All the ladies are screaming. And he's looking back at me like, sing your part. And I'm like, he's like, so, after the gig, he fired me. Promptly fired and sent home. But it lit a spark in me, like, this is what I want to do. I want to write songs. And I want to write songs and get a record deal, And that was really the moment around that. But thank God, I was able to get a record deal, and, things kind of spiraled into, where I am right now. But it came from a sequence of tenacity, I would say, from just being in a place that I didn't want to be, but wanting something more, and not really giving up until I accomplished it, from not being, from not wanting to fit in and just go with I don't know, the influence of others, to being where I wanted to be, but not, I don't know, respected like I wanted to be, as far as around other kids that played jazz, and I was just a singer, to, you know, being in the atmosphere with people that were doing what I wanted to do, but not really knowing how to do it. It was really tenacity and not giving up. And I think back to my brother, I'm inspiration to this day, because my brother that went to Egypt, he came back home, and now he's incarcerated. So he really lives through my life. Um, it's one of the things that inspired me to go on, that a lot of people don't get the opportunities, you know, that I've gotten. So when I'm traveling the world and I'm seeing things, I'm taking mental pictures as well as using my phone. But it is really, to get out of the place that you're in. I always felt like it takes tenacity, and it takes, not really giving up, because you're told no a lot, as a person of color, or just a person coming out of struggle. But you have to never give up on the things that you want, because you can have them, if you're tenacious enough, you know. It's not really, I always felt like it's not about how much you can dream, because I always was a vivid, imaginative person, but it's about how tenacious you are about the things that you dream about, to go out there and get it. So, thank you.